Mao, the creator of the People's Republic of China, was like a hero to the people of China, but would have thought that behind that mask was a cold-hearted killer and hypocrite who brought about the death of up to 70 million of his fellow citizens from starvation, disease, and sheer hardship. But that's not the end of his cruelty, as Mao was known to have extremely weird fetishes towards young females, and what he did to them will send shivers down your spine. Welcome back to Timeless History. In this video, we'll discuss the life of Mao Zedong. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel to see more videos about brutal leaders in history. China has had its fair share of villains in the past, from bad leaders, but not much villainy could come close to the case of Mao. Despite his brave deeds for China, Mao had a disturbing fetish towards female teenagers. It's not wrong to say they were still kids, as most weren't even up to 14 years old. Mao indulged his every sexual caprice. The Communist Party and army procured young illiterate village girls for him daily. According to them, Mao desired to have a virgin girl every night. These girls were kept as servants in his villas and served as dancing companions at the leader's exclusive parties. This was after the ban on such activities. However, Mao engaged in the same behaviors his government forbade because he believed he was above the law. Mao Zedong engaged in Casanova-like behavior and had over 3,000 concubines for his pleasure. He had a unique bed made only for him, and he used it to entice many peasant females brought by communist caterers to satiate his sexual appetites. Being from rural backgrounds, these young girls all believed that sleeping with the chairman was the best experience they had ever had. He claimed he needed the waters of yin, or vaginal fluids, to replace his depleting yang, or masculine essence, which was the source of his strength, power, and longevity when confronted by his doctor, who was alarmed by his peculiar behavior. You may be in for another shock if you believe his bad deed ends there. From what we gathered, that Mao's sexual activity was not confined to women. The attendants were always strong and attractive young men, and one of their duties was to give a nightly massage to help the chairman fall asleep. During those massages, Mao always insisted on having his groin stroked. His doctor, who was at the time his closest friend, once witnessed Mao seize a young guard while nude in 1964. Mao Zedong had an insatiable appetite for any form of sex. And to top it all off, according to Dr. Lai, Mao never washed his teeth, which left them with a green patina. Mao believed in the art of using tea to wash his mouth. When Dr. Lai once advised him to brush his teeth, Mao responded, "A tiger never brushes his teeth." Because he never brushed his teeth or showered often, dozens or hundreds of young ladies with sexual diseases. These women who were infected, when asked to get treatment, refused, claiming that those diseases were proof of the time they spent with their idol. Mao's strange behavior isn't a surprise, as even his wife, Jiang Qing, was said to have 6 toes on her right foot. As bad as Mao's fetishes were, it couldn't compare to what comes next. It's hard to imagine a human being could be responsible for such a criminal act. We can only use the word monster to describe him. Before his death, his fame was spread by China propaganda posters, which frequently depict Mao's face as the sun, providing light and direction for the land and people under the control of the Communist Party. Most people saw him as an idol or a god, but after Mao's passing, that changed. After his passing, the public knew the reality that had long been kept secret, and Mao's reputation as a horrible person grew. Zheng Chang and John Halliday made these discoveries, which were later incorporated into the biography Mao, The Unknown Story. They link Mao to Hitler and Stalin in the book and say that he sacrificed thousands of innocent lives to rule China, making him one of the worst monsters of the 20th century. Mao is revealed as a man who despised the peasants, even though he was the first Chinese communist leader to speak up for the country's farmers. Mao lived off the produce of the local peasants to the point where he rendered them penniless when in charge of the forces in the countryside in the early 1930s. He purposefully employed terror to impose his dominance over the party and the subjects he was in charge of. During the Long March, Mao had no qualms about killing thousands of his few military troops in pointless detours to further his leadership ambitions. Once he was in charge of China itself, the wider stage, this callous disdain for the lives of comrades and fellow Chinese became even more obvious. Despite the disproportionate loss of significantly more Chinese casualties, Mao persisted in extending the Korean War. The Great Leap Forward, often known as Mao's mad plot to surpass Britain and the United States, caused the famine and early deaths of 30 to 40 million people, and the agony of the peasants reached new heights. Mao persisted in sacrificing the Chinese people till the end of his life to become a superpower. Mao continues sacrificing the Chinese people in his search for superpower status. His story is a story of a hero with a double face who still kept a smiling face in public after what he did. What do you think about Mao Zedong? Feel free to let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on other videos about crazy history